All right, good morning, class. Today we're going to work on section 7.2. So if you're taking notes or if you're able to access your book, we're going to be in section 7.2. Now, in our previous lessons, we were talking about parallelograms and how to find the area of a parallelogram. All right, and if you remember, the area for a parallelogram is A equals B times H, or base times height. And we know that the height must always be formed where there is a right angle. All right, so this could be my base, or this could be my base, or this could be my base, or this could be my base. But my height can only be where I have a right angle, and it should be perpendicular to my base. So in this case, this base would be out, and I would use one of these two, so that it is perpendicular to my base. Now, what would happen if I cut this parallelogram in half? What would happen if I just went on the diagonal and I cut it in half? What shapes do I have? Okay, I have a triangle here, and I have a triangle here. I have a triangle on the top, and I also have a triangle on the bottom. So what do you think, using what I know about finding the area of a parallelogram, what do you think my formula could be for this? If the parallelogram was A equals B times H, what have I just done to make the triangle? I cut it in half. So my area, or my formula to find the area of a triangle, is going to be A equals 1/2 B times H. Now, there are a couple of things I want you to remember as we move along in this section. Yes, you need to know the formula. A equals 1/2 times BH. Area will always be in square units, and any side can be a base. The side for height will always be perpendicular to the base. All right? So those are some things we're going to remember. Now, to solve, you're going to do the same thing you did before. You're going to start with your formula. A equals 1/2 BH. I don't know my area, so my A stays. My 1/2 will always be there. My base is 11, and my height is 4. So I'm going to be multiplying all three of these together. It doesn't matter the order. Sometimes it makes more sense to half one of the numbers first, or you can multiply your two numbers in parentheses and then half it. So today what we're going to do is I'm going to say, what is 1/2 of 44? And A is equal to 22, and our measurement is in feet, and because it's area, it will be squared. So our answer is A equals 22 feet squared. All right, let's try to find the area of the blue triangle. Start off with your formula. A equals 1/2 times base times height. A equals 1/2. Now I'm going to fill in for my variables. For B, I'm going to use 22, and for H, I'm going to use 10. You have an option again. You can find half of 22, which is 11 times 10, and get your answer of 110 meters squared. All right, now on this screen, they're having us find the missing dimension. Look, they've given us the area. They've told us what area is. So when I go to write my formula, A equals 1/2 B times H, I already know what my area is. So this time I'm not going to have to write A. I'm going to put 24 equals. And I'll add in the centimeters squared at the end. 24 equals 1/2. I don't know my base, but I do know my height. So I'm going to have B times my height is 6. So can I find 1/2 of 6? Can I simplify any of this? Of course I can. 24 equals, what is 1/2 of 6? 3 times B. Now, what does this remind you of? An algebraic equation, right? And since we're treating our formula letters as variables, what would I do to get rid of this 3 so I can find the value of B? I'm going to divide, that's right, both sides by 3. They want me to multiply, so I'm going to do the opposite. I'm going to use the inverse operation, and now I'm left with B equals 8. Now, will 8 be in square units? No, it will not. It will be in units, and they're using centimeters, but it will not be squared because only the area is squared. So no square units for a missing dimension. All right, now let's see if you can do it here. All right, we're going to start off with our formula. We know our area is 175 feet squared. This time I know my base, I don't know my height. So I can say 175, what is half of 20? That's right, it's 10, and I bring down my H. And remember, I'm multiplying all 3 things together, so I'm still multiplying. Now, in order to get my H to stand alone or to find the value of H, I've got to get rid of that 10. They want me to multiply, but I'm not going to do that. I'm going to undo the operation, and I'm going to divide both sides by 10. That leaves me with H, and H is equal to 17.5. Remember, when you divide 10 into 175, because it does not end in a 0, it is not going to go in there evenly. So my answer will either have a decimal or a fraction. What would be the fraction version of 17.5? I could say 17.5 feet, or 17.5 feet. So either one is fine. All right. They will not be square units because that was not area. I already had my area in square units. All right, now let's look at this triangle. What measurements do I need to find the area of this triangle? They've given us measurements on every side. We have height, we have a base, we have 2 sides. What measurements am I going to need to solve this using my formula? A equals 1/2 B times H. All right, I know I'm searching for area. I know I'm going to keep my 1/2. What is my base in this case? It is 8. 8 is my base. What would my height be? 3. Good. 5, I would use 5, 5, and 8 if I was finding the perimeter, the distance around my shape. But to find area, I'm going to find the base and the height. And my answer would be 1/2 of 24. What is 1/2 of 24? A equals 12. And they didn't give us any units. If they did, they would be, we'll just put units squared. All right, and here they want us to find the missing dimension. They give me the area. So in my formula, when I'm writing A equals 1/2 BH, my area has already been given to me. My base is missing, My height is 6. I can say 1/2 of 6 is 3b. 30 equals 3b, and I can get rid of my 3 by dividing both sides by 3. And when I do, I get b equals 10 millimeters. Remember, this will not be squared because it's only a missing dimension. It is not area. All right, we're going to try one more thing. This one was more like a story problem. It says a wildlife conservation group buys the 9 square miles of land shown. What is the distance from point A to B? Sorry guys, just 1 minute. What is the distance from point A to B? All right, so basically we're finding the missing dimension. What do we already know? We know the height and we know the area from the story problem. So let's start off with our formula as always. A equals 1/2 B times H because this is a triangle, so we want the formula for a triangle. And now we know the area. It told us in our story problem, the land they bought is 9 square miles, and we know area is always in square units. So 9, you could put miles squared if you want, is equal to 1/2, we don't know the base, that's what we've got to find out, times the height, and they told me there the height is 3. Now I have 9 equals 1/2 of 3 times the base. Well, what is 1/2 of 3? It is 1.5. So 9 equals 1.5 times B, or B. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to divide both sides by 1.5. Some of you will need to come over on the side and set up a division problem. 1.5 going into 9. I have to move this decimal 1 time, so I've got to come over here and move this decimal 1 time. Now I'm dividing 15 into 90. And how many times will 15 go into 90? That's right, it goes 6 times. 6 times 15 is 90. So B is equal to 6. Our missing side is 6 miles. All right, class, you have time now to work on your assignment and let me know if you have any problems.